for Bo forever. Welcome. Ripley's down here. We'll see how long she lasts. This is the Record Store Day 2026 video, which I anticipated doing whether or not I was going to come back to videos either way. Because these really are my favorite videos to do. And I only have to do them twice a year, relatively. So, got everything on my list, which is good. Whittled down my list, reconstructed the list, got everything I was looking for, got everything I felt like I really wanted, which is the most important thing. But I will say it was certainly not my favorite RSD experience. Not really anything to do with the event itself or even, or it just a lot of hyper specific things happened this morning. One of which was that the store I regularly go to, which I won't name, but because they're still my favorite record store no matter what, but I always go to them because they've always seemed to have the lowest price point on every title. And this was one of the literally 2 record store days in the last 15 years where I felt like that wasn't the case this time around, where a lot of stuff was actually quite above what I was expecting, which every once in a while, not the end of the world, but on record store day, that kind of shit adds up, but is what it is. I was going to get the records no matter what, so, but I certainly could have saved some coin. But what I really want to talk about is something that as soon as I address it, I know people are going to be like, oh, well, you're just jealous. I want to be clear that this is not jealousy. This is a complaint on principle. Principle of the event, principle of the game of record collecting. And there's going to be people, I think, who watch my channel who fall into this category. And I just want those people to know that this is a general complaint opinion I have. I don't think less of you as a person. If you have some hookup with a record store or a record label for Record Store Day, I don't want to fucking know about it. Live your life. Do whatever you got. Appreciate, that the music business is all about who you know and not what you know, right? But I don't want to see it. I've been going to record stores with a pretty large regularity since 2009, and I've never once asked for any special treatment on Record Store Day. I've never been offered any special treatment on Record Store Day. I go in like any other fucking person. I wait in line like any other fucking person. I pay full price for all my records like any other fucking person. And I am talking about this because the people who are in front of me in line who, look, I'm about to be 30 and a half years old next week. And I don't think I'm an old person, certainly, but I can really tell I can really feel a generational gap. And the people in front of me, God bless them. God bless the young people coming to the record stores to spend money to buy vinyl, right? I'm always going to be championing that. But, I can just tell when you've never read a book in your life and you've learned the English language from the internet and from TikTok and from, all these places. Or just every other phrase out of your mouth is a meme or a catchphrase. And it's just it's frustrating to fucking listen to, So whatever, that's a personal gripe. But I didn't quite catch the specificities of the conversation that these two people are having, but essentially they got to the record store, or, we walked in when the record store opened, and we're all in line, and we're a few people away from the counter. And this person in front of me knew somebody who worked at the record store. And this person who worked at the record store just handed them their number one record you know, before they got to, because the way my record store is you have to go to the counter, ask for what you want, and then they pull it. So there were at least 3 to 5 people in front of them, you know, going through that process. And this person in front of me knew somebody who worked at the record store, and the record store clerk came up to them, handed them the number 1 album that they wanted, and said something to the effect of, "It's a gift, you're all good. Do that shit on your own time. Don't waste my fucking time in line talking about nonsense in another language just to walk in there and not spend any money. What was the point of even waiting in line? Just take that shit somewhere else. I don't care if there's all this shit happening behind the scenes, but like, I've been doing this a long time, and I certainly don't think I'm better than anybody else, but I also have the experience, and I know how this shit goes. And I have almost the same exact experience twice a year, where I go to the same store, I line up at the same time, I buy records, just like anybody else. I don't expect any special treatment just because I buy records. Everybody and their fucking mother buys records. Like, it's whatever. But on record store day specifically, it's frustrating when I get there over 3 hours before a store opens, and somebody in front of me, after waiting that same amount of time, just, "Here you go. Here's your record. Whatever. We got it." Anyway, let's talk about what I picked up. One more thing I want to say is, whenever I do these record store day videos, I always think about Mike Hub Tunes, who a handful of years ago said something to the effect of, why do a video just showing what you picked up when you haven't listened to any of it? And he would always do 2 videos. He used to do a video showing his record store day pickups, and then, like, in his vinyl finds video for the month, he would actually review all the records. That's a fine way to do it. I'm just lazy. One, I'm lazy, so I'm not making 2 videos. B, last year, I actually started, posting individual record store day reviews on my Instagram for Broke On Records. And 3, it's FOMO. I want to get my video out there. And now that I don't have a set schedule of video posting anymore, I'm happy to get this out while the iron's hot. All right. Taylor Swift, Elizabeth Taylor 7-inch. I've always been a pretty casual Taylor Swift fan, but her last album, The Life of a Showgirl, is by far my favorite record she's done. I absolutely love it. I understand that it's ridiculous, but there's something about Taylor Swift that is inherently ridiculous, and in that sort of way, it feels like maybe her most honest album yet. So this is the companion 7-inch single for the song Elizabeth Taylor, album version on the A side, acoustic version on the B side. This comes on some very pretty Cry Your Eyes Violet sparkle vinyl. Now listen, Taylor Swift is a billionaire, right? And she always presented to be sort of a champion of record stores and a champion of vinyl and a champion of fans buying her records. But at the end of the day, she's still a billionaire, and it's still corporate rock and roll. And, she still puts out way too many variants of all the records. But if I'm going to pay $21 for a 7-inch that has the same song twice, at least give me an inner sleeve. I had to put this inner sleeve in here. This 7-inch was loose in this cardboard sleeve. Like, I get it. All her shit's being mass-produced, but come on. You think someone would have had the fucking foresight to say, throw an inner sleeve in there. But I still bought it, so what are you going to do? All right. No surprises here. The special Kiss album for their summer tour, featuring cuts for all formats, 1976 Kiss Tour EP, first ever vinyl reissue exclusively for RSD, featuring the 4 singles from Destroyer, pressed to 45 RPM on black and white splatter. This is a very hard to find original record. It'll cost you anywhere between $300 and $700. Again, this is a very Kiss style thing where Kiss was so, for all the things they did right, they were so bad at singles. All their singles are just stuff on the albums. All the B-sides of all the singles were just other tracks from the albums. All their promo albums were all just tracks from the albums. And not one of their best marketing choices. But of course, it's Kiss. It's the first ever Kiss record store day release, so of course I'm going to get it. Really nice spot gloss on the text here, which is really nice. And yeah, on black and white splatter wax. I'll probably, I mean, there were 10,000 of these. I wasn't worried about not getting this. And I doubt I'll ever own an original. This is also an RSD first, so that means there's going to be another variant coming down the pipeline, and we'll see if I get that too. And then speaking of Kiss, Culture Factory has moved on from Eric Carr to Bruce Kulick. This is his second LP Transformer. Again, also, you know, when Culture Factory first started doing the Eric Carr titles, it was very cool, and then it got very overdone, and of course, like everything Kiss, they kept putting out the same album every record store day in different formats, and I think they ended up doing like maybe 6 different of each of those Eric Carr records. It's just unnecessary. Like, you would think the trust of Eric Carr would at least have enough integrity to be like, we'll just put it out once. Or at the very least, put it out once and then maybe put out like a non-record store day retail variant. But it's like 3, I think it was like 3 CD variants each and 3 vinyl variants each. Just like, it's unnecessary. So I'm hoping that Culture Factory does more individual Kulick titles and not just the same Kulick title over and over again. But of course, we'll see if that actually happens. And also, this was originally supposed to have a different cover art. It had a Crazy Nights homage cover art, and that got pulled pretty quickly. I don't know if any of my Kiss fans watching this saw that on the Record Store Day website or maybe have any information about that, but I would suspect Kiss probably reached out and said, you can't do that, would be my guess. Or maybe the Record Store Day site just uploaded the wrong thing, but so this is really cool. So this is a purple and orange record, but I mean, it's pretty evenly split. I've never seen a, sometimes you'll see records marketed as A-side, B-side color, where they just merge two together and they kind of smash one side and smash the other side. I've never seen a record A-side, B-side done this precise, and you can kind of tell on the edge. I mean, it's really split. I wonder, did they press 2 separate sides of vinyl and then maybe patch them together somehow? It's cool to see something different, you know? But I'm really not all that familiar with the Bruce Kulick solo stuff or Union or any of that, so excited to check that one out for the Kiss collection, of course. Next up, we got Marshall Crenshaw. The bootleg sounds of Marshall Crenshaw, 1984 to 1987. Contains previously unreleased recordings made between 1984 and 1987, curated by Marshall Crenshaw from his archives. I was hoping this was going to be, or I originally thought this was going to be the demo session that You're My Favorite Waste of Time came from, but I think that whole session is actually on the Record Store Day Marshall Crenshaw self-titled reissue, which I have. But yeah, on Yep Rock. So it's Marshall Crenshaw, it's demos, it's from the 80s, and it's on Yep Rock. Instant sale for me, although that brown vinyl is ugly. I would not have gone with brown vinyl. They're kind of, it's supposed to echo the color of, you know, tape, as the cover suggests. But would not have been my choice. I'd maybe go for maybe a root beer, kind of like translucent vinyl fit with me. Third Eye Blind, Rarities and First Drafts. Rare and previously unreleased tracks. Includes alternate versions of Semi Charmed Life, Motorcycle Drive-By, and many more. Love me some Third Eye Blind. First 3 records are untouchable. I still need to get the third record on vinyl, but I do have the CD. So yeah, this is mostly alternate stuff. I heard some criticisms that there wasn't a ton of actual B-sides and non-album tracks on here. There's really only one and everything else is like alt versions, but that's fine. I don't really know a lot about Third Eye Blind's B-sides unreleased tracks, but I just love those first 3 records so much. So I definitely am down for some alternate versions on green vinyl, as you can tell. And yeah, they've done, they did that Electra 75 series of the debut. I have that. They did the Rocktober of Blue. I have that. It seems to me like that third record you can get maybe some places sometimes, but I think it's definitely in need of a wider reissue. The Tears. Here come The Tears. First ever vinyl reissue, the 2005 debut album featuring Refugees, Lovers, and Autograph. The Tears is a side project of the band Suede, which I love. There was a Suede Record Store Day title coming up at the BBC, which I originally had on my list, and I took it off for a very dumb reason. And that reason is that it was not pressed on clear vinyl. Why does that matter to me? Well, every Record Store Day Suede title I have is pressed on clear vinyl. Most of the ones I don't have been pressed on clear vinyl. And the coming up BBC Sessions was pressed on pink vinyl, so I was not interested in that. But I was interested in getting this Tears album because it was pressed on clear vinyl. So yeah, it's Brett Anderson, the singer of Suede, and the guitarist Bernard Butler. Yeah, their only album. I guess it was the first record they had made together after Bernard Butler had been out of Suede for a minute. But I had never heard of this album until the Record Store Day list came out, so I was definitely interested to check that one out. From Wax Trax Records, My Life with the Thrill Kill Cult, Sinister Whispers, the Wax Trax remixes. This is 2 LPs remastered, TKK remixes from the pivotal Wax Trax years. Includes previously unreleased remixes, exclusive glow-in-the-dark jacket, which I obviously can't show you, but trust me, it is. I mean, you can tell it's textured and everything. It almost also feels like the spine might be glow-in-the-dark too, which is really cool. I was so stoked. This is absolutely one of my top picks this year. Very excited I got to get it. This was originally a CD-only compilation that came out, God, probably 15 years ago at this point, maybe a little bit less. And it has some of my all-time favorite Thrill Kill Cult mixes and recordings. So the fact that Wax Trax put this out on vinyl is awesome. This is the Black Smoke vinyl. It's more of a translucent black ice vinyl. I see a lot of labels doing that black ice. The next record I have to show is also on black ice. Yeah, but super duper thrilled that Wax Trax brought this to vinyl for Record Store Day. If you are unfamiliar with My Life with the Thrill Kill Cult, this is a great place to start. One of the best Chicago bands, one of the best Wax Trax bands. And yeah, this is a killer compilation of remixes. From Southern Lord, this is John Boy, legendary Austin, Texas 90s noise rock trio. This is the Anthology, the Claim Dedications album, originally recorded by Steve Albini, newly mixed by Brad Wood, remastered Pistol Swing and bonus tracks, 2 full-length LPs on black ice vinyl, bonus tracks, 20-page booklet, liner notes, historical essay, photos, ephemera. So Southern Lord's Record Store Day track record is impeccable. They, some of the reissues of the original Southern Lord catalog titles are hit and miss for me. I only pick up the ones I feel like I really need. But their archival series of sort of deep cut, unreleased, hardcore punk and metal bands have all been fantastic. And I've sort of said to myself, anytime they do one, I'm going to pick it up no matter what. Because the Virulence one I have is great. The Neon Christ one I have is great. They've done a few of the Heroin one, which I knew Heroin before Record Store Day, so I knew what I was getting myself into with that one, but that release is great. All these archival releases Southern Lord has done are so good, and I'm fully willing to put my faith that they will continue to be good. So there's a few I'm missing. I know, like the Force Down I don't have, the Malfunction I don't have, and there's one with a green cover I need to pick up as well. And I actually don't have the record store day version of the Neon Christ, but that's okay. Anyway, so 2 LP set, I believe the complete recordings of the band John Boy. Here are the original album covers in the jacket. So yeah, this one comes with a nice big booklet. Now what was interesting is it had a second sticker on the back that looked like this. It was not peelable, so I had to cut that out. Limited flop flip edition. Friends, fans, and collectors, due to a clerical error in the manufacturing process, the center labels on the LPs are reversed. Pistol Swing center labels are on claim dedications and vice versa. I don't know. I thought that was a very funny sticker to include. But I'm also glad that they let me know. Now, I looked at the dead wax, and if the dead wax is accurate for sides 1, 2, 3, and 4, my copy may not be flop flipped. So, I don't know. I'll have to wait to see until I play it, but very excited to dive into John Boy. Very excited about this one. Was worried this might be hard to get, but I'm always, on the April days, I'm always between like 15, 20 people in line, and that tends to work out for me okay. But this is Paramore, the deluxe reissue of their debut album, All We Know Is Falling. One of the last Paramore albums that I needed for my collection. At one point, I had all of them, but when they announced this, I got rid of the other All We Know Is Falling that I had, and now I'm just missing Brand New Eyes, I think. But yeah, love me some Paramore. Love pretty much the whole discog. Hayley Williams solo material does absolutely nothing for me, but Paramore studio stuff is great. So this is the original album on LP1, and then their original debut EP on LP2 on Red Smoke vinyl. Maybe the second. Well, Paramore have had many record store day releases. I have the double LP This Is Why, which is great. And this is also great. Well, I mean, I'm surely great. The album is great. I know that for a fact. Actually, obviously, I've not dove into the pressing yet. Oh, this is another one I was very, 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 very excited about. This is MC 900 Foot Jesus. Welcome to My Dream. 35th Anniversary Expanded Edition, featuring alternate mixes, demos, and new liner notes. So this was reissued a few years ago by Network as a standard single LP black vinyl. I neglected to get it. It became very hard to find and very expensive. But I'm glad I waited it out, because now there is this nice double LP colored vinyl record store day pressing with all the bonus tracks, remixes, etc. There was an independent label out of Texas that just reissued his third album, One Along the Spider. I always forget the name of it. And I neglected to purchase that as well, and now that's very hard to find and expensive. So I'm not fucking around anytime any more MC 900 Foot Jesus records come out. But yeah, 2 LP on silver vinyl. MC 900 Foot Jesus, one of my absolute favorite kind of cult artists from the 90s. It's industrial, it's ambient at times. He's, primarily a rapper, poet. This is a fantastic album. If you see this at your store, I would get it, because it is damn fine. Another deluxe double LP reissue from the 90s, Dog's Eye View. This is Happy Nowhere, 30th Anniversary Deluxe Edition 2 LP. Record Store Day exclusive, obviously. So this is kind of like alt-rock, alt-country. These guys kind of got their start playing with Counting Crows in the 90s. This record was actually recorded in like 92 or 93 and got shelved and put out way later, which worked against them, unfortunately. But this is a great record, and I know there's going to be people who be like, hey, didn't you fucking shit all over Dotto last year, but you're pro Dog's Eye View? Yes, I'm pro Dog's Eye View. Whatever. Just let me have my moment. This was a little too expensive for what it is, packaging and presenting wise, but I have a feeling this one is going to be, one of the harder ones to find once all the Record Store Day madness is said and done. Green Smoke vinyl. Looks nice. It looks like on the Record Store Day preview site that this was going to be maybe like a metallic or like a mirror board cover, which I was expecting, but it's not. But it is textured in a way that I don't know if any of my other record jackets are. So And finally, another double LP reissue from the 90s, Steely Dan, Alive in America. Mine has a corner ding, unfortunately, but the store was so busy this morning, there was no way I was going to be able to swap it out. So, kind of a bummer, but is what it is. Anyway, this is the Steely Dan reunion tour. I believe their first official live album as well, from 95, 96, whatever it is. Yeah, 95. Double LP, 180 gram vinyl, everything you want from Steely Dan, everything you want from a Steely Dan Record Store Day release. I've got the great Two Against Nature and Everything Must Go reissues from a handful of RSDs ago, and I'm happy to add this to the collection. And any sort of classic era, Walter Becker era Steely Dan stuff, I will continue to buy. So that is Record Store Day 2026. Whatever.